Hi y'all, it is Taye Olawale here. So I want to talk about, as y'all can see in the title, entitled, sorry, I'm trying to get my little hood together. Entitled customers, riders, whatever you want to call them. And I'm actually on my way to go pick up a passenger. So, but I want to talk about entitled passengers and working at night. Because, you know, most of my passengers, y'all, it's bright out here, so if y'all can't see me, then y'all just can't see me right now. But most of my passengers, I'm gonna move the little thing in a minute. But most of my passengers are great. I have great conversations. I have, you know, good customers. But you got, you know, your bad eggs. You know, you when there's a garden, you're gonna have weeds. You know what I mean? So that's just, it is what it is. And that's something that you have to deal with. You know, and an interesting story, I had a passenger night before last night, and homegirl got shot at the club. Not, you know, she wasn't targeted, but she told me, because she was coming to my car. Her brother was carrying her stuff, but she was coming to my car, you know, some crutches and stuff. I'm like, what happened, honey? And she was just like, girl, I got shot. I'm like, what? She was like, yeah. Apparently she was at the club, and this girl had a gun in her purse, and I guess was, I don't know, the lady was trying to, she was I guess an employee at the club, but she was trying to go through her purse or whatever, and I guess the gun went off. The gun wasn't in any sort of, you know, case, from what she's telling me. The gun wasn't in a you know, protective case or whatever, so that, you know, it doesn't get bumped around and the safety come off, accidentally discharged, you know. And so the gun went off through the girl's purse, got her in her leg. I was just like, oh my God. So, you know, thankfully, you know, y'all, when you out here and you talk to your passengers and stuff, you learn a lot about people, and you learn about different experiences. You got some interesting stories, different things like that. So don't be afraid to talk to your passengers and, you know, provide a comfortable environment. You'll understand though that sometimes hold on, y'all. So like sometimes some passengers, I'm on this stretch of road, y'all, and the sun is just like coming at me. But sometimes passengers, they don't want to talk, and that's fine. You can kind of feel that sometimes, or sometimes they'll just put their headphones in, or they'll just be on their phone, or they'll be on the phone with somebody else. This is cool. Like, a lot of times I like it when passengers don't want to talk, because sometimes your girl don't want to talk. But anyway, so, you know, I've had, like, last night, and this passenger actually rated me bad, probably because she saw that I rated her bad. But it was one of those things. She was not smelling too great either. She was coming from the club. I had picked her up before, and it was cool. But this time she had an attitude. So I don't know how we got on this conversation or whatever, but she was. I was like, yeah, I just, you know, I had to turn down a ride tonight because, you know, passenger was drunk. It was him and his buddy. I was picking them up from a club, and, you know, they needed a ride to wherever they was going. I'm assuming home, but who knows. But they was drunk, because I was sitting there, I was waiting for a few minutes, and I saw people outside the club, you know, laughing, joking, goofing off, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, okay, so it must not be them, you know. And I was saying I was hoping that it wasn't them. So I see the same guys I saw goofing off and stuff, 2 drinks in their hand, yelling, you know, just being belligerent and stuff like that. They apparently realized, oh, Uber ride's here, let's go. And they come around, my doors is locked. So see, that's the thing. When you're picking up people at night, before you pick somebody up, especially if you have to wait on them and you don't really know the area, or even if it's just dark, you know what I mean, and just for safety reasons. Anyway, make sure that you keep your doors locked. And make sure you look at the person, you see the person before you let them in your car, because you don't know what type of state of mind that person's going to be in. So hold on one moment. Yeah, so you don't know what state of mind these people are going to be in, and you don't want to just, you know, have your doors unlocked and let people just jump in. So I rolled down the window of the passenger, because he came around the passenger side and he thought he was about to get in the front seat. Y'all, I don't hardly let nobody in my front seat unless it's like, you know, a lot of people or, you know, something like that. But other than that, I'm not letting you in my front seat. So you know, he had 2 drinks in his hand. His buddy, I guess, was straight up drunk. He didn't even know where he was going. He was walking across the street, just looked dazed. And so he was sticking his hand. First of all, he tried to open up my passenger door. Then he was sticking his hand through, like, "Hey, are you Uber?" I'm like, you're a little too drunk. I'm not gonna be able to pick y'all up. He was just like, "Oh, for real?" I was like, "Yeah." I said, y'all doing too much. So yeah, y'all, I just got a Uber ride in here. Let me check it out. Yeah, so he's sticking his hand in the car, and I'm like, dude, like, you can't get in here. y'all too drunk. And so yeah, so you really have to just protect yourself when you're out here, especially driving at night or driving on the weekend or driving when you know the clubs are going to be closing or shutting down and stuff like that. And sometimes it doesn't even matter if it's that time. I had a girl, the first drunk passenger I had in here when I was doing Uber, it was 6 o'clock on a Sunday, and she was frat party drunk. So I was just like, what the hell? So, you know, you don't have to pick up anybody. Like, this is your car, you pay the gas, the car note if you have one, your insurance, all that type of thing. You know, you have to protect yourself, because, I mean, Uber say they have insurance, but, you know, they not gonna, you know, if something happens, you're not about to, you know, get anything from Uber. So you have to learn how to protect yourself as a driver, from picking up from passengers to accidents, you know, having the proper insurance to, you know, your car. You know what I mean? This is your moneymaker. This is, you know, in my case, it's my baby. Her name is Pearl. So I'm not gonna have anybody getting in here disrespecting my property, you know, because at the end of the day, people don't really care about your shit. They don't. You know, some people do. You know, they have you know, that sort of what's the word I'm looking for? They you know, will respect, you know, other people's things, and I appreciate those types of people. But that's why I told y'all, that's why I send out that message, and I get people who will cancel the ride, which is fine, because I still make my money. But my whole thing is, what you're not going to do is get in here drunk. You're not going to get in here throwing up. You're not going to get in here and you're a minor, because then I'm liable for your child. No, ma'am, and no, sir. You're not going to get in here and be unsafe and have weapons and drugs and stuff. Like, you have to, like, that's just common sense. Like, I've heard of people, Uber driver, taking their passenger to a drug deal. And I'm like, what the hell? You know? So people don't really respect, you know, I'm not saying everyone doesn't. I'm gonna let somebody in. But I'm not saying every passenger doesn't. I think for the most part, most people kind of do. But at the end of the day, people really just care about them and theirs. Which is understandable. I mean, it's human nature. But it is, you know, kind of a person to care about other people, other people's things. Anyway, so I had this passenger last night. Picked her up from the club. Like I said, I picked her up before. And, you know, we got on this whole thing about, you know, I had told her how I had to turn down, you know, the ride of the 2 guys that I just told y'all about. And she was just like, well, I mean, you're picking up people at this time. times, the club times and this and that. And I'm like, that is true, but that doesn't mean that I have to let them into my car. That doesn't mean that I have to take them home, because the thing is, and I was telling her this stuff, and the thing is, it's just like, if Uber's to get you safely to point A to point B. I'm not here to be your mom, your dad, your therapist, your what's it called, the EMT. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to do those things. I'm here to get you safely to where you need to go from point A to point B, and that's what it is. Don't make that hard for us as Uber drivers to do. So if you're getting in here, you're drunk, you're passing out, and this and that, like, you expect me to do mouth to mouth? You expect me, no, with COVID and monkeypox and whatever else is out here, it's getting cold, flu season around the corner. You expect me to do CPR when you can sue me later for breaking your ribs because I'm trying to save your life? Like, that's just, it's too much. It's too much. Like, if you can't get in here, I mean, I understand that certain things happen. People have different, issues, and some things cannot be controlled. Like, say if somebody just all of a sudden has a seizure or something. Like, obviously, they probably weren't prepared for that. You're not prepared for it. So, you just gotta go with the situation accordingly, But if it's this stuff that you can control that shit. Because you don't have to take BS from people. You're not the help. You know what I mean? You don't have to be treated like the help. You know what I mean? Like, no. You're gonna respect, this is my job, this is my business, and you don't go into somebody's business being disrespectful. And that's just how I feel about it. So you have to really just take pride in what you do, and don't be afraid to put your foot down. Don't be afraid to have rules. Don't be afraid to tell people. Like, while I was explaining this to her, she didn't really get it. She was just kind of like, well, this is what you do, so you should have to just deal with it. And I'm like, no ma'am. And so then we had stopped. She wanted to stop at 7-Eleven before she went home. All right, cool. It was on her trip. And that's another thing, y'all. If people get in your car and they're like, oh, can I stop at, I've done that and I regretted it. So, because this one lady, she was in the daggone gas station for 30 damn minutes and almost left her ass. And that was when I first started doing Uber. So if people need to stop somewhere, make sure you get them to add it to the trip. And they say they don't know how, it's okay. You can pull over, show them how to do it on their phone and add the trip. And if they be like, oh, well, don't worry, then don't worry about it. Because see, an extra trip, that's extra money. That's extra time that you gotta waiting on them at this extra stop that they want to do. So make sure you do that. So anyway, we stop at the 7-Eleven, and she gets some snacks or whatever before she goes home. And then we're 6 minutes away from her house, and she was just, she was staying at a hotel or whatever. And she was like, do you mind if I eat these pork rinds before? I was like, no, I'd rather not. And I didn't say it mean. I was just like, I would just rather not, Girl, you 6 minutes away from the house. You got to eat the pork rinds right now. Pork rinds stink too. Like, you're not gonna have, and she was already not smelling that great, but you're not about to have my car stinking even more. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. But I was just like, no, I'd rather if you could, just wait until you get home. Girl, you 6 minutes away. You do not need to eat them pork rinds right now. Anyway, so she ended at the end of the ride, she ended up getting out. She slammed my door. I'm like, bitch. I was like, all right. So people, they feel entitled to do, like, they feel like when not all of the passengers, but some of them feel like, oh, your car is my car for the duration of my trip. No, this is my car, and I'm doing you a favor by helping you get to point A to point B. You're not gonna get in here and be disrespectful and be, just how that's what I mean. I send out that message. There's been times that I've forgot to send the message out, but for the most part, I send that message out to everybody. Most people read it, some people cancel, some people will respond, other people will joke about it with me in the car. But everybody that I've asked about it that have made a comment, they'll be like, oh, well, I mean, this seems like common sense. It's not, you're not asking for too much, you know. And I didn't think I was asking for too much. This is all common sense. No drugs, seat belts, no kids without car seats, nobody under the age of 18. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, under the age of 18 without you know, an adult present, apart from me. So, you know, people just have this mentality. They feel like the rules are different for Uber drivers versus them being in a wreck. Like, this is still a car. The same rules apply as if you were driving versus if I'm driving you. Like, the rules are not different. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, people think that the rules are just different. And I had these two, they were in the military guys. They've got in my car, I was picking them up from the base. And he was trying to get in my car with an open jug of whiskey or alcohol, whatever it was. It was dark. It was alcohol. And I'm like, I'm looking at them coming in or whatever. And they get in my car. It's like, you know, you can't have an open alcohol in the car, right? And he was just like, oh, for real. And I've had several people try to get in here with alcohol, open alcohol, and think that it's okay or it's Uber, so it doesn't matter. Y'all, I don't understand why people think the rules are not different. If you can't do it in your car, you can't do it in this one either. You know what I mean? And people just, I don't know if they just, I think some people are just trying to get away with it. I think some people have gotten away with it in Ubers. And see, that's the other thing. Uber drivers, do what you know you're supposed to do. Because if you pick up minors, if you're letting people in with alcohol, if you're letting people, you know, just do stuff that they're not supposed to do getting in your car, then that makes it hard when they order the next Uber and they feel like they could just do whatever they want to do. Oh, because the last Uber let them do it. Like, I'm not that type of person. If you're going to rate me bad because I'm trying to do the right thing and protect myself, because what you're not going to do is get me arrested, get me pulled over, mess up my money, mess up my car. That's what you're not going to do. You're not going to do that. And if you want to rate me bad because I'm sticking up for myself and my property, and then that's what you do. I mean, not to say I have a bad customer rating, because I don't. But you know, when a lot of times when you hold people accountable or you put your foot down on certain things, people get mad. You know, and my whole thing is that's fine. I'm the type of person, I will speak up for myself. I will speak up for my things. And sometimes I will be a little bit too nice, and I have paid for that. So what I'm, you know, telling you guys is, you don't have to be, don't be too nice to these people, because you give people an inch, they'll take a whole damn 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 miles, you know. And don't let these people make you feel like you the help. You know what I mean? Don't let them make you feel like, you know, you work for them. No, boo. No, I don't. I work for me. This is my car, and you gonna respect it and yourself while you in here, and me. So, and you know, the reason why I tell y'all not to let these customer or passengers, riders, whatever you want to call them, make you feel like you the help, is because they will try to make you feel like you the help. Like, this one guy got in my car smelling high of weed, and I was just like, and it was a little cold at night. It wasn't like how it is now, but it was starting to, you know, fall was coming, and it got a little cold that night. He ain't had no jacket on or nothing, and I picked him up, you know, from a house, he you know, I had the windows cracked, you know, so I get some ventilation, you know what I mean? Because sometimes they be smelling like, y'all, my eyes be burning and my throat be burning sometimes. That's how strong they be smelling at times. And I'll roll my windows down, I'll crack my windows. If it's cold, you just want to be cold. Because if I'm going to be uncomfortable, you better be uncomfortable. You know, because everybody doesn't smoke, everybody doesn't drink, everybody doesn't smoke weed. When you getting in a car, passengers, you know, and you're in a confined, and I know some Uber drivers probably be smelling like smoking stuff too, and y'all, that's just a no-go. You know, you cannot really just, if you smoking in your car, if you smoke, and you're not spraying yourself down or anything like that, you gonna be smelling like smoke. Whether you done went nose blind to it or not, people can smell it, and it can be uncomfortable. So take care of that. And, I post a video about keeping your car smelling good. Passengers who stink, even if you stink, it can apply to you too. You know what I mean? And I don't mean stink as in body odor, even though sometimes it might be body odor, but even just them smelling like just work or cigarette smoke, weed, stuff like that. Those smells are not pleasant. So anyway, back to the story. So he was just like, I was like, well, he was like, oh, it's kind of cold, can I roll it? And I had the heat going too. So first of all, I got my windows rolled down and I'm blasting my heat so you don't get too cold. So I'm still trying to like make it comfortable for you, even though you have made this an uncomfortable situation for me. And I don't outright tell people like, oh, you stink. I don't say that or whatever. But if they ask me so he asked me, he was just like, oh, well, can I roll this window up a little bit? I was like, well, you smell a little strong back there. So that's why I got the windows cracked, to ventilate a little bit. He was like, oh, you don't like that smell? I was like, no, not particularly. And plus, I don't need the next person getting in here and thinking that I'm smoking weed. And even if people get in here, they smell like cigarettes, they smell like weed, like I told y'all, I got my sprays and stuff like that, my Febreeze, and I will spray my car, because what you're not gonna do is make it seem like I was one in here getting high. So he was just like, well, I don't even know how we got on this part of the conversation, but he had made a comment. He was just like, well, I'm doing, we doing y'all a favor. And I'm like, huh? Well, I'm like, how you figure? He was just like, well, y'all don't have a job if we don't have any rides. I'm thinking to myself, dude, you one person, and who needs the ride here? Whose car is this? You know what I mean? And so we kind of had this conversation, and just that entitled mentality, you know what I mean? I was just like, are you kidding me right now? First of all, you don't pay me. Because he said, we pay y'all. I was like, first of all, you don't pay me, you pay Uber. Uber pays me. You know what I mean? Or, divvies out whatever the trip fare is. And I'm like, dude, you a drop in the bucket. You know what I mean? You're not paying me. And even if you was paying me, that don't mean you can come in here and just do whatever the fuck you feel like you want to do and think I'm supposed to just take it. You know what I mean? No, I'm not. I have, more respect for myself than that. I have respect for my property. I have respect for the next passenger getting in, because my whole thing is, it's not just you that I'm picking up. You know what I mean? Because I've had passengers tell me, oh man, like, they got into a Uber's car and the car was musty or whatever. And I'm just like, and that happens if you're not taking care to, like, if a customer's not smelling that great and you don't take time to, like, kind of air out your car or spray it, you know what I mean? And you just let, the next person get in and it smells like that, people going to think that it's you, or like this last passenger said it was the other passenger who was in there before them. I'm not sure how they figured that out, but I'm just like, come on now, y'all. Like, that's why I made that video about keeping your car, smelling good and how to deal with stinky passengers and stuff like that, because these things is all about customer service. Hey y'all, I'm just getting home. I'm tired. But to close out this video, it's at the end of the day, it's about customer service. Don't allow these people to make you feel like you're to help. Don't allow them to come into your vehicle, like take over, the atmosphere of your vehicle. Like, I set my tone in my vehicle. People can feel how they want to feel, but at the end of the day, they need our services. You know what I mean? Yes, we need, passengers to be booking rides in order to, make money on a platform such as Uber. But at the end of the day, let's be respectful, because at the end of the day, it's about a mutual respect. I want to provide a comfortable environment for my clients. So at the same time, I expect my passenger, I said clients, but passengers, riders, I don't expect them to make me feel uncomfortable for providing a service to them. So that's just something that just to think about. You know what I mean? Beware. Set the tone, set the atmosphere of your vehicle, of your work environment, you know what I mean, which is your vehicle. And do your best to provide the best customer service. Don't be speak up for yourself. Don't be afraid to cancel rides if you feel uncomfortable, even mid-ride. You know what I mean? And even as like females, it sometimes, doing Uber, it can be a bit challenging, especially if you're doing Uber at night. I drive Uber at night a lot, for a woman, and I'm not necessarily scared. There might be times that I might feel uncomfortable, but I'm not necessarily scared. Some women ask me, are you scared to drive? I'm out here at night, and I'm like, nah, not really, because I don't know. I guess I'm a pretty brave person. Not to say I don't get scared or nervous or anything like that, but I assess the situation. I've been in tough situations, scary situations. So I guess doing Uber is like, it's not really anything to me to cancel a ride or speak up for myself, or set the tone, let people know, hey, you can't do this, or you need that, or whatever the case may be. So I just wanted to get on here and finish up the video and let you guys know that. And yeah, so I hope y'all enjoy the video. Make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. I have not forgotten about my giveaway that I'm going to be doing since I have reached 1,000 subscribers. So that is coming, and you have to be subscribed in order to get it. So make sure you subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family, tell other gig workers, especially females. Let's get on here and support each other, and let's do our thing. All right, y'all, I'll talk to you later. I'm going to sleep now.